On this episode of Podigious.
Reboot.
I need your password. You can use mine to get on the internet.
Podigious.
Welcome to Podigious, episode T3.0. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Try Chapter 3, Confession.
Secrets and Reboots.
Recorded September 24th, 2016.
Podigious is your critically nostalgic, analytical tour through the Digimon anime. I'm Jeff Ruberg, and I'm joined by my fellow Jedi agents, Ashley McDonald.
Meicumon's going to reboot your face!
Asher Softman.
Gomamon is my bromamon.
And Andrew Softman.
I have the sudden urge to watch 90s CGI cartoons.
Okay, that was one I didn't follow at all.
Yeah. Oh, because Reboot. I get it.
This week we're looking at Try Chapter 3, Confession.
Meicumon plays a couple rounds of flight control while Digidestined Mommy and Daddy bicker. Meiko knocks over a trash can, Yamato blushes, and Koshiro turns his office into a college dorm room. Sora becomes a mom, and Joe adopts Koshiro.
Takeru infects Patamon by tickling his butt, and then runs away with him. Mimi tries to call Yamato tsundere, but mangles words just like most American otaku.
Oh!
Like me. The kids establish a Digimon daycare. A warning is delivered by an ominous prophetic disco ball. And Hikari gets a phone call from a really possessive old friend.
Homeo, Hikari, and Maki inform the Digimon that they're going to provide some tech support for the digital world by turning it off and back on again. The Digimon get nostalgic with the partners before their Digi-Alzheimer's sets in.
The Digimon have a wrestling match to try to push the new kids Digimon off the show. Everyone becomes corrupted via Digi-peer pressure, but Koshiro and Tentomon show up and are too nerdy to succumb to peer pressure. Koshiro tries to back up everyone's data before Homeo and Juliet reboot the Windows 98 machine running the digital world, but he fails because they weren't able to properly eject the flash drive.
The kids try to move on with their lives, but eventually remember that they're in a Digimon movie, and that there are 3 more movies.
Before we jump into the episode, we wanted to let you know that we're doing another round of the Try Giveaway Extravaganza for the next 3 days. 3 days because try, Anyway, the deadline is
Monday, October 17th.
at 11:59 p.m. EST, so hopefully you're listening before then. Same deal as last time, 10 different ways to enter. We'll pick 3 winners in the entry pool, and then each winner gets to pick 1 prize. Some ways of entering will enter your name into the pool multiple times, and if you enter through every method, you can have up to a total of 28 entries in the pool. We still have some big prizes from last time, like a Gabumon pouch, microfiber cloths, and CDs of Butterfly Braveheart, plus some new stuff we got since the last round, like really cute rubber charms and metal charms. You should check out the images of all the prizes, plus the full rules and links to the different ways to enter at podigious.com/contest. And stay tuned until the end of the episode for a code word which you can email for another entry.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
This was like the happy-go-lucky one. This was the,
Yeah, this is the super hacky going.
nothing bad happens, everyone's just having fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's dive into general impressions. Ashley, start off. What did you think of this movie? Summarize in one word. One word, go.
Better?
Okay. Asher,
I'm with
one more,
Ashley.
go.
I'm with Ashley on that one.
Better?
Yeah.
Andrew, one word.
Manipulated.
Ooh, darkness.
Gotta be different.
Mine is
It's true.
Mine is not sloppy. That's totally one word.
That's
right?
That's
not-
2 words.
I had one word in the flashcast. I called it fantastic. So
Unsloppy.
You called it
de-sloppified.
fantastic?
Unsloppified. It's
No,
not
Jeff.
fantastic. That's
Yeah,
2.
Jeff, tell us more.
I mean, it was mostly my experience that felt fantastic. It was. I wouldn't at this point say the movie was fantastic. I would say the movie was really good. But
It's better.
I'm gonna stick with better.
having something exceed my expectations for once was a great experience, and not what I guess is redundant, but I did not expect. I totally expected to be let down again and to have it be below my expectations, but to have it exceed them was great. Possibly only because the past 2 movies lowered the bar so much that I had to overthrow them. But yeah, in terms of not being sloppy, like so many of my complaints of the first 2 movies of just like what felt like really lackluster and unpurposeful direction. Like things are just properly, like really poorly timed. There were still some instances of that. There were still a couple what felt like they had to pad because they didn't have enough. They weren't timed very well, so they were like shots that were held for like 4 to 5 seconds. They were like, huh?
Yeah.
But I felt like the times I could recall them, they felt like they were employed better. Whereas in the past movie, it was like, this is just like totally undercutting the purpose of the scene. Whereas this movie, there was like, one while Koshiro was typing and everyone was sitting around silently. And I was like, that's a perfect time to have a thing linger for a couple seconds because it reinforced that everyone was like, didn't know what to say. And Koshiro just kept typing. And there was one where Padawan paused while talking. And that was definitely like a couple seconds too long. I think I counted, it was actually 5 seconds. And I was like, But anyway, whereas in the past movie, it was just like, this is terrible. This was like not so bad. And there weren't too many of them. Anyway, and the music, I mean, everyone agrees the music was better in this movie, right?
No.
No?
The music may have been employed better, but it's still the same, like, generic, weird music.
I feel like wasn't as, I mean, you're right, you're saying it was employed better, but I think the thing that makes it feel so generic at times is when it becomes really obvious, like, this is just super generic. And I feel like there were fewer instances of it being employed so poorly that it made you think about its genericness. There was definitely the one song, like I think it was when Tentomon...
The ominous song when Tentomon digivolves is
right.
the thing that stands out to me. It's bad.
Right. It was just like, that was also like, you're supposed to get hyped that Tentomon was joining the battle, instead it was just like, and now Tentomon appears, now back to like ominous music that starts basically from zero, and yeah, it wasn't a time for ominous music anyway, so. But on the other hand, when the song that plays once Kabuterimon is like, reminds Izzy of his, I forget what the line is, but they're like, the point of being ignorant is that you want to learn more and you shouldn't be ashamed of not knowing things. And then digivolves to, I guess, activates the crest digivolution to Mega Kabuterimon / Ultra Kabuterimon. And the music plays during that actually felt really nice, and it felt like it was actually genuinely emotional and leading that emotion, which was great. I also thought the movie was surprising in a way that the other movies weren't.
What do you mean? You called that Ken was Jedi.
Yeah, I guess we should explain that now, that a listener just emailed us and pointed out they were catching up on old episodes, and apparently in episode 312, which wasn't that long ago, we released it only a couple weeks ago, but it feels like forever that we recorded it, and we were comparing Ken to Impmon, and Andrew mentioned Tri-Ken, and then I, like, offhandedly, without any other speculation, just offhandedly was like, oh yeah, Tri-Ken, that's definitely Jedi, right? And I don't even remember saying that.
I was definitely sure the Digimon Emperor and Tri was not Ken.
Yeah,
and then Jeff makes an offhand comment that it's Jedi just randomly.
I think it was kind of I think it was pretty clear to most people that it wasn't Ken. Like it when he disappears, he, like, in the end of the second movie, he, like, I forget how to describe it, but like his data, like, phases out, or like it doesn't feel like it's like, I thought it was an illusion, just like a complete, like, there wasn't a person there, it was just a projection or something.
Yeah, and then I thought that it wasn't Imperial Dramon, and it turns out it might have been.
Yeah, I assume that was a projection too. Anyway, that's all for speculation later. But I don't even mean just that twist. I mean, like, the climactic fight scene was one of the, no other Digimon fight scenes come to mind as being so totally unsure of how it was going to turn out.
Well, there's only 3 in the entire movie.
I mean, all of Digimon.
Oh.
Like, Digimon the franchise.
I thought you were just talking about Confession.
No. And I mean the battle when they're fighting against the reboot timer. Because, like, it very well could have ended with them, defeating Mekomon before the timer ends. Could have ended with them getting in the backup cube and like retaining the memories or whatever. And this was kind of the one I least expected, that they would have kind of failed at everything.
Really?
There's 3 movies left.
Yeah.
Sure, but like,
they wanted to go with the route with the most emotional impact.
I definitely was like, okay, they're not going to defeat Mekomon. That seems obvious. I guess. I was like, I guess I'll hold out the possibility that they end up, or some of them end up in the thing and don't get rebooted. But no.
I guess it felt surprising to me because it's like, it feels a little bit like the fact that they introduced the backup cube thing, that usually you would only introduce something like that if it was going to be used, and they introduced it to not be used. Maybe it's used later or whatever, but like...
Well, it's introduced to be a backup to, I don't know, it's technically used, but it's not.
I sort of figured that it was basically the same kind of box as the daycare pen that Koshiro's got in his apartment. And he was just reusing it for this backup purpose. Like, that way it didn't feel to me like a MacGuffin. That's not really a MacGuffin. That's not how you use MacGuffin.
No.
But like,
MacGuffin's an object that you're supposed to get, right?
Yeah. So it that way it's not like a Chekhov's gun that doesn't get shot, I guess.
I'm not like, because usually Chekhov's guns, like, cited to be like, well, if you introduce this, you need to use it. I'm actually saying like the fact that they didn't use it is what made it more powerful.
I guess.
By making it seem like it was a Chekhov's gun and making it seem like they would have to fire it, and then having to be like, no, they didn't achieve in firing it.
I mean, the thing that sucked about it for me was like, okay, clearly they're going to fail because they all didn't evolve past champion, and so it was too late. And I was like, that's really stupid because you all know whatever Mekumon's other form is ultimate, and like,
right.
It was just so bogus, and you know now that you can all evolve to Mega. Like, ugh, can't.
Yeah.
Well,
I still
half of
can't.
them. No, wait, all of them.
Please.
Wait,
all of them.
I mean, they haven't like
all of them
achieved.
except like Sora.
Yeah. I mean, arguable canon for Takaru and Hikari, and Sora not yet. And like, you could say, okay, well, it seems like it's unlocked for all of them, but like, maybe there needs to be a catharsis moment they haven't gone through
all
yet.
you need is War Greymon and Metal Garurumon.
War Greymon happened though, which was weird.
Yeah, but after he was infected.
Yeah, that was weird. That just happened like spur of the moment and
yeah, that was
super
weird.
unceremoniously. Yeah, that was.
I could not with this fight. I was like, nope, this is still bad.
I justify the way is that they weren't trying to destroy Megamon. They were just trying to like remove, like put her back in the distortion.
Okay, even so.
But they were losing. It seems like they'd be better at doing that if they evolved. So yeah, I totally agree with the frustration.
Better restraining if you're stronger. Like, I don't, that's not.
Okay. But general impressions, did that frustration affect your, like, color the entire movie for you? Did that, like, leave a bad impression on the movie?
Yes.
I mean, not overall, but just, like, that is the climactic moment, and you're like, there was this dramatic tension of you don't know what's going to happen, and I'm like, I feel like it wasn't a dramatic tension because they all didn't evolve, then they all got infected, and you're like, okay, well now you're screwed.
Well, they all were infected, and it just got worse.
Sure, but that's because I feel like they could have fought it off if they had been stronger levels and then gone into the thing and rebooted after they pushed Mekumon back into the distortion.
I have thoughts to get into later about, like, the infection, but,
I mean, it's one of those contrived things where you're like, this very contrived instance is what drives your entire plot. That's kind of really just bad plotting.
Let's have one sad thing and then back it up with another sad thing, except the second sad thing is kind of forced.
See, I just don't think that what they were trying to do was not, like, destroy Mekumon, Crackmon, whatever form it was. Like, I think they weren't, like, going all out in their fight. They were just trying to move it. They were just trying to play, like, a territorial tug of war kind of thing. And I think with that context,
I don't understand how. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're very handicapped by they have their hands tied. Like, having Angelmon appear in this movie, and like I saw a lot of people really excited about that. And it's kind of like, yes, but like, speaking from a purely plot perspective, the fact that she didn't appear for 2 movies is kind of ridiculous. Like, the fact that she wasn't used in the earliest fights as soon as it was necessary is just like, clearly their hands are tied to, like, reveal some of those big moments later on and be like, oh my god, we got a Metal Greymon evolution, that's awesome. But like, just from a, like, plotting perspective, like, they should have thought to do that so early on. And yeah, they haven't really been successful in giving convincing reasons to hold those back. And yeah, I still just don't feel like it was as bad as, like, the champions fighting Alphamon head on. Like, that's just like, there's no reason for that. Like, this is like, there's a loose kind of bad reason for it. But anyway, when I was talking about surprising things, I didn't just mean the fight, which, okay, you can, yeah, I can see your point that, like, especially since it's like kind of the low point of the series, you expect it to go as badly as possible and it's contrived and everything. But I was also talking about the Hikari's possession. I totally didn't see coming.
Again, I feel like Hikari has been crapped on in every single scene in this movie. She just looks super perplexed. And then, like, her getting possessed is like, sure, whatever. She's Hikari. That's just what happens to Hikari. Like,
Right.
Just another average day.
Yeah. Like, even if you're surprised that it's like this weird thing named homeostasis, it's like, all right, but that's just what happens to Hikari.
Right.
So what I was talking about being surprised was that, like, she picks up a phone call and then, like, it does very similar imagery of her eyes turning when she picks up the phone call, and I immediately was like, wait, can humans get corrupted too? Like, oh shit, like, holy crap.
Right.
This is like...
That's what I assumed. My other thought was that, oh god, it's the Dark Ocean all over again.
Yeah, I just immediately was like, oh my god, the Dark Ocean has finally found you, Hikari.
But anyway, it's like, it's also that scene is right after that weird ominous disco ball, whatever, that, you know, says like that message about I forget the messages exactly, but anyway, the phrasing that Hikari says when she's possessed is very similar to that, but not exactly similar. It's like something about time stopping, and the ominous message was something similar. So I was like, oh, she has been corrupted. This is clearly the corruption talking. And then finding out that it wasn't that, it was homeostasis, which, for people who don't know, homeostasis in the adventure novels is explicitly called out as the name of the thing that possessed Hikari back in Adventure, to reveal the info dump then. So this is very much intentionally, this is the same thing that possessed her back then. So finding out, like, having it be a callback to that, I was like, oh, great, that's like, I don't know. I mean, it's still frustrating that it's still Hikari's Jesus power. Like, it's still just like Hikari's special because Hikari's special, and why? But I really appreciate the callback, and I feel like it was surprised. It was staged in a surprising way. Do we have any favorite moments?
Sora and Mako.
What?
That was a good moment.
Wait, so the crying?
The scene where
all the crying.
Sora goes to Mako's house, I believe, or was it Mako going to Sora's house? I don't remember.
Sora went to Mako's house.
You're talking about the thing like in the beginning of the movie, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mako, cries.
Yes.
Everyone cries throughout this whole movie. It's just all crying.
Everybody cries.
Did Joe cry?
Probably.
I don't remember.
He was the only one who was happy.
It's true.
Facts.
Even though he gets burned by Gomamon.
Yes, my favorite moment was just Gomamon's burn.
That was what I was going to say. I was going to say that whole scene, like not just Gomamon's. So the whole scene of Joe wanting Gomamon to meet his girlfriend, and then Gomamon like talking about whether he needed a suit or whatever, and then I want to ask you something, and Joe proposing a bunch of things that he thought he was going to ask, and then he's being like, is she a real life person? It's great.
Way to like ruin my ridiculous dialogue draft pick.
We're not doing a ridiculous dialogue draft.
Oh.
I think if we were, I was just going to be like, this is the only line. We're all on the same team.
I mean, obviously, that was my favorite moment, but since that was obvious, I'm going to pick another one and say that when Yamato, was talking to Tai Chi and said...
the blush.
Yeah, that moment. That was a good moment.
What were they talking about again?
They were talking about how other people could digivolve to Mega and how that would be less of a burden on Tai Chi. And I was like, Yamato's being super, like, jealous in a way that, like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Tai Chi doesn't want to do this thing with me anymore that was special. And I was like, wow.
Oh, I didn't think it was quite so like passive aggressive. I thought it was like, Yamato being...
Oh no, I think it was like he was sad and he didn't want to let on that he was sad, so it came off.
He was sad that weird. They don't have to rely on them anymore.
Right, and
yeah,
I think it's a totally logical thing for them to be.
No, I like Asher's initial interpretation better. That makes way more sense why he blushed to me.
Right.
No, because like Tai Chi expressed so much hesitation, and like Yamato is taking that as like not. He's like, well, you're expressing hesitation because you don't like being with me, not that you whatever your stuff about destruction and stuff. So.
I don't think Yamato really thinks that. But
I think that's why he's blushing. He was like, oh, it's because of me, isn't it? Oh.
No, I really don't think that's why. But I do think that he doesn't want to come off as disappointed, which is why he makes so many strange faces during that 2 seconds.
But then I think Tai Chi's also like, are you telling me this because you don't want to do this with me anymore? Like, it felt very much like a relationship and being like,
right?
Like, do you need some space? And it's like, are you asking me if I want space because you want space? No, I'm like they're just trying to like see each other eye to eye, but instead they get more not looking each other eye to eye. Yeah,
I also think that Tai Chi's completely like floored expression was kind of offensive to Yamato. Like, did you think that I don't care about your feelings? Like, jeez. Poor Yamato. He was a trooper in this movie.
Meh. I like the moment between him and Takeru, and Takeru's like, so who did you fight with? Like, why are you here? Did you get in a fight with Sora? Did you get in a fight with Taichi? And then Yamato's like, Takeru, we all know that you're the one who's like in a funk right now. And then Takeru totally plays him, and I'm like, that's because Takeru's the best.
I know, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty funny how Takeru was insisting that Yamato was fighting with someone. He was like, no, I'm not fighting with them, not fighting with them, not fighting with them. Why do you think I'm always fighting with people?
He's like, why do you think I'm fighting with somebody? Why?
And then Takeru's like, that's your character type, isn't it?
That's just who you are, bro. Like,
and Gabumon agreed. I was like, Gabumon!
Gabumon's faces were the best. I take back everything I said. Gabumon's faces, the best.
This movie really drove home how the Digimon are entirely too good for us. Completely.
Okay.
And that's why we rebooted them.
God.
Damn writers.
Ooh, Sora embracing her momness.
No.
I mean, it's okay. I have some frustration with this because I do find it frustrating to have only a few female characters and have them be relegated to being the mom and have it be so explicit about it. And that just reinforces that, you know, girls are expected to act like the mom and expected to be caretaking and stuff. But I also think that's kind of a gut feminist reaction, and that her character type has always been like this. You know, like that's what her arc during the beginning of Myotismon stuff, when she was protecting everyone from the sidelines and not wanting them to know and stuff. She's kind of always been about that. And I think it's really sweet to see her finally embrace that. And I don't think there's still other female characters who are not being relegated to the mom archetype, stereotype. So, and it was sweet to see her do it. Still no? I didn't sell you on that at all?
I liked it, but I also understand why Ashley's so mad about it. Like, I'm in two minds and I cannot reconcile them.
There was so much Joe in this movie. Oh my god.
So much Joe!
It's like, okay, things are done. Like, it's so great to just see him be a core part of the group again. And like, it feel like I was really, I liked the struggle he went through in the last movie, but the way it concluded felt so like, this conclusion kind of sucks. But then seeing it now, like having his arc having concluded and seeing him be happy again and seeing him be like energetic and upbeat and like totally joking so much of the time. He was in such a big funk in the last movie and the first movie and really just needed something to pull him out of that. And I feel like we don't see his studies in this episode. You know, like it's very possible that his studies have totally suffered because of him being so involved and happy and not focusing on studying. But I really think that realistically it's an important aspect, like to be happy and to be energetic and to do other things other than studying is important, to do studying well too. So I hope he's doing well. I hope it's not like we find out next movie that his studies he was just like completely flunking and stuff, because
he'll be fine.
Yeah, we know he becomes a doctor.
The way information is disseminated through this movie, and in the past also, like in past Try episodes and in the past several seasons of Digimon, the really organic way that the secrets in this episode are just completely not kept was really, there was something about it that reminded me of the fact that these kids are growing up. Because remember, back in season 2, when the kids were hiding the fact that they were, risking their lives daily from their parents, TK's mom asks him directly, like, is this, like, what happened 4 or 8 years ago? And he was like, nah, come on, Mom. Like, blatantly lying through his teeth, which he also does in this movie, because TK's a lying liar who lies.
Wasn't he doing that, like, with Patamon on his head, too? Like, that was clearly unacknowledged by the script, yeah.
I think so, yes. That was absolutely a thing that happened. And at the beginning of this movie, when it was revealed that Mako's parents know all about Meikumon, I was startled. I was like, oh my god, her parents know? And the fact that startled me made me feel bad later, because it's like, they should know. And then I was like, where are Ken's parents? Like, why is nobody answering this door? Why has nobody called, like, the cops He's a missing person again.
Well, why are not the parents of all the 0-2 kids, if they're all missing, upset about it? Maybe they have.
Because
maybe they are.
government-
Yeah, maybe they are, and they've just been, like reassured by the government. Oh, they're fine. We know exactly where they are, and I don't know, somehow covering that up. I
still feel like they would have contacted TK or Kari or one of the other 0-1 kids.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. 0-1 is not a thing. But for the sake of keeping them separate. And, like, Maki tells the Digimon about the reboot, I think, with full knowledge they were going to tell the kids. And the Digimon tell the kids about the reboot, and they're like, don't tell anyone. And, like, really, if you guys can't keep the secret, what makes you think anybody else can keep a secret?
I mean, but I also just don't, my frustration with that is, like, why is this a secret? There's so many things in this movie that feel like so many secrets, so many, like, things people aren't telling each other, and they do have varying degrees of, but why are you not just telling? Like, I think Takeru not telling people about Padamon's infection was the most justified, because it's like he really doesn't know what to do about it, doesn't know what terror it's going to cause, whatever, by people freaking out about it. But, like, the other ones, like, why is this a secret? Why do the Digimon, like, Tentomon and I guess Agumon tells Taichi and is like, you can't tell anyone else. And it's like, but why? Like, if Maki had said, by the way, don't tell the kids, that would at least make sense, because she's sinister. We don't really know her motivations. Maybe it's kind of like they think that that it's for the kids' protection, but it's actually because she wants to obscure information. But for the Digimon, just all be on the same page about not telling them, like, just whatever.
Well, they didn't tell them because they didn't want the kids to know that they would be rebooted too.
Yeah, they didn't want their last moments to be sad, I guess.
Yeah, I think that was what that was about. And, I mean, the ending song was, like, one of the first lines is, I want to protect you, something. So, the idea that, but the secrets don't protect anybody, and none of it works. So it makes me think about the fact that, like, I don't know, I think I have gotten more honest as I've grown up, because there's an idea, I think, that grown-ups lie more than kids do, but that's such BS. Kids lie all the time.
Yeah, I think that perception becomes from the fact that, like, there's generally a world of things that parents don't tell kids about, and it's like they try to keep the world simple for them.
Sure.
Yeah, and then within the world of adults, there are definitely topics that you're like, you cannot discuss this with other people. Like, you must keep it secret except from, like, your closest friends.
What do you, like, salary? What are you talking about?
Like, salary, like, relationship things. Plenty of things. All the things that adult mystery and thriller novels are made of, basically.
I mean, yeah, I feel like kids definitely lie a lot, but I feel like it's often lies in ways they don't know what other people do or don't know. Like, kids often lie in a way that the parents know they're lying, like Patamon, like TK and Patamon lying to his mom.
Yeah. And what I appreciate about this one is that, like, apart from a few very, like, cleverly disguised lies, looking at Maki and Genai, none of these lies or secrets are kept. Both Yamato and Sora pick up on Takeru's weird behavior. And I'm wondering, like, because the kids have known each other that long, and they're better at picking out those subtleties in one another, and also addressing them with more subtlety than previously. And I also thought, I was actually very proud of Sora for telling Meiko about Skull Greymon. Even though, like, it was a breach of Taichi's privacy, but at the same time, I think it's what Taichi would have wanted, and I think Sora would have known that.
I don't know if it's that much of a breach. Like, I feel like it's an experience that they all went through.
Yeah, but, like, Meiko wasn't there, so it's, like, it's sort of a breach. Like, a line was sort of crossed. It's not her story to tell, basically. But I think she was right to do it. But nobody, not even once, talked about Anjumon's sacrifice. Not even Patamon and Takeru. Like, what is so profound about that moment that it cannot even be mentioned?
I think that's just sloppy writing, but yeah, okay.
Right. I feel like there would have been so many moments for, like, Takeru to say, like, I've already lost you once, or just something like that.
Yeah.
And the fact they didn't, sloppiness. But I mean, Ash, I guess you're reading it at a level, but, like, we have assumed that's a fact. Now let's read into the text as it stands.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that interests me for secrets now is that, like, they kind of imply that the kids will now keep it a secret from their Digimon that they ever knew these Digimon before.
I don't know about,
I don't think so.
yeah, I don't know how, like, in what direction everything will go in. I guess that's a possible one, but I don't think that was necessarily implied as the definite thing that's going to happen.
Okay.
I mean, they definitely, in the interactions we saw in this movie, yeah, they weren't like, we know you, you know us. It was like, we're meeting for the first time.
They were like, I don't know anything about this world.
Right.
Or at least Koshiro was like, I don't know anything about this. Teach me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were pretending to reset themselves to match their reboot.
Okay. I don't see how that doesn't imply something strongly, but sure.
We'll get into speculation, but like the next movie has Sora reaching, like has Beyond reaching her mega form. Like I don't see how that happens without there being some kind of reset of the things that's been rebooted. It's like I don't see them like going right from this to that without something major changing. You know. Anyway.
Okay.
I also like just speaking generally about secrets. Like just trying to keep track of who knows what and who's told whom what and when, and just like it's such a complicated, if you try and map out like who knows what, it's just a complicated mess in this movie, and I guess you don't really need to keep track of that, so maybe I shouldn't try.
Yeah.
But the different secret, I guess like the thing that the movie is named, the confession the movie is named after, I assume is Meiko confessing to Takeru that she knew that Mekumon was infected the whole time.
It's not that Mekumon was infected, it was that Mekumon is the infection.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did Meiko know that?
She said it.
Okay, I can't remember exactly what was said.
I don't think she knew. She was just aware that it was possible.
No, I'm pretty sure it was implied that she was like, I've kind of always suspected it, and now that it happened, I know that that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it seems like people kept it from her.
Sure, but now she knows it's true.
Yeah. I also just, even if that's what she said, I don't think that's necessarily the case. Like, I assume that we'll eventually find out is that Mekumon was infected from the beginning, but that, like, it didn't come from... But yeah, everything we've been told at this point is that it originated from her.
Yes.
But I guess it's also likely that the movie is just named Confession after all the little confessions that happened. Mm-hmm. Which made in the Fathom extra at the end of the dub screening, the Crunchyroll people referred to the preview they were showing as for Try Chapter 3, Confessions. And that was, I think, the only instance where plural has ever been stated. I think in everything else it's been translated as singular. But it almost makes more sense after seeing the movie. The other thing I wanted to talk about secrets and stuff was Maki and Daigo keeping secrets from the kids.
I mean, Maki's keeping secrets from Daigo.
Oh yeah, there's so many secrets.
I don't even know what's going on with Maki anymore.
Yeah. I don't think we ever knew.
She's super evil.
Well, she's something.
But yeah, so I joked in the recap that they are like the Digidestined mommy and daddy. But getting away from that like parental thing, I think it's the thing they reminded me most of is managers. They're kind of like managers for not like talent managers, but like in an organization, like in a job, they are keeping information from them because they're like, this is not relevant to their job. And that's kind of the role of a manager, is to like not to kind of deal with the other things so that their subordinates just have to think about the stuff they need to think about. And it is totally on the manager to decide what they need to know and when. Or
simplified, it's the manager makes sure everything is working properly in a tight way.
Well, sure. But I mean, like in the context of information and knowing information, I think there'll be some people who might simplistically assume that managers keeping information, that's bad, and the manager's job is to tell all information. But I don't think it is. I think the manager's job is to like selectively give out information. So I guess my first discussion point was like, are they good managers? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, no.
But I also do disagree. I feel that in most situations when managers withhold information that is even semi-related to something that you are trying to dictate somebody to do, it always comes back to bite you in the end.
Sure. There are definitely times where a manager's bad for not giving information like that. But I think they're, in general, like it's not like the ideal case is disseminate all information. I think a part of a manager's job, like I think they say it, there's a line, I can't remember what it is, but something about like deceiving them effectively is part of our job is something that I think Maki says. And I think that's definitely true. I mean, not deceiving as a manager, but I think definitely not deceiving, but definitely I think a good manager should not worry them with everything that they know. But you said like things that are related, like I think they should tell them things that are related to what they're telling them to do. You know, if you say like, you need to do this by Friday, I think it's important to say why it needs to be done by Friday, not just like, this is a thing that is set in stone. But anyway, other thing about them being managers is just like, I don't think it's okay for them to be managers without their consent. You know, like the Digidestined didn't agree to be like, okay, we agree to like let you, like part of having a manager in a job is that you're like, yes, your job is to manage me and I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. But the kids aren't never agreed to being cool with Maki and Daiga selectively withholding information from them. So, yeah.
I mean, sure. I don't get the implication that the kids are like, I don't know, following really any of their orders at this point. It's just kind of like...
Yeah, it's true. They haven't been given orders by them.
And if anything, the table seemed slightly turned, except that it seemed to be feeding into Maki's hand, where they came and asked, like, oh, we want to go to the digital world. And then, yeah.
I mean, like the kids are requesting things of them, not the other way around.
Yeah, but then it seems to feed into, like, what Maki wants to happen.
Yeah, which, on a related note, I don't know where else we can fit this in, but, like, the whole homeostasis talking through Hikari, and then Maki jumping in, I don't know, like, I mean, Maki says some things that are like, was homeostasis actually going to say that? I'm like, I don't know how much to trust. It was, like, very convenient timing.
Yeah,
and...
you shouldn't trust Maki.
Yeah.
I think that is the implication.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that she told the Digimon, who are more trustworthy, not trustworthy, more trusting than the kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's... But yeah, like the homeostasis mentions, like, a big sacrifice, and then Hikari faints, and Maki jumps in and says, oh yeah, the big sacrifice is this thing. Which
right.
The homeostasis never mentioned by name, but, like, that's totally what it is, guys.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Don't think so.
Never trust a Maki.
Don't trust a Maki.
Okay, now let's talk about Reboot, the concept which arguably this movie is centered around.
What do you mean, arguably?
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say, like, whatever. I don't know how you would say that the movie is centered on one thing in particular. That's why I said arguably. But, I guess I'll start off by just, like, talking about some of the mechanics of it. First off, I'm kind of frustrated that, like, the mechanics of the reboot were hard to understand without... I eventually went through and, like, you know, wrote down everything that Subtail said, basically homeostasis monologue. But without that, I feel like it's hard to, like, there's the quantized world, there's, like, is there another thing? The quantized world, the quantum sea, all these different things, moving pieces, but I don't think it really matters, because I feel like the stakes were set up in a way that everyone knew that the reboot was going to happen. They knew what the stakes were. I think as an audience, it doesn't really matter that it's kind of confusing, the mechanics that are laid out. And I also think if you then read the subtitles again, it makes sense. So anyway, basically, Reboot, the way it's laid out is that the quantized world feels a lot like the idea that was mentioned in the Demiurge monologue way back in the beginning of the chapter 1, and that the digital world spawned from this primordial base world, and that somehow a thing they can do is just reset the digital world, which is like, why? This seems like such a big leap. Like, couldn't every threat that's been in the show so far been reset, but that's, like, fixed this way? You know, like the Dark Masters, I guess Megadon came out of the digital world, so, like, once he was a big threat in 02, that wasn't really possible anymore. Maybe. Anyway, it just seems like, is this really the threat that's so big it's going to cause the whole digital world to be in trouble? But anyway, Reboot. The main part of it is that once digital worlds reboot, the Digimon will be reset to the initial state and not remember the kids. And that is the emotional core.
Sure, but the true exploration that the show tries to set out on is whether rebooting is analogous, like, entirely or at least mostly to the children growing up. I think for me, it was, like, explicitly spelled out when Yamato is talking to Gabumon, when Gabumon pesters him about playing the harmonica, and then Yamato's like, will it all change or something when I become an adult? And I was like, okay, you're just, like, laying it out there.
See, I don't think it's that rebooting and growing up are the same in that regard. I think that was more about growing up making Yamato want to reboot. I did find his dialogue kind of confusing at first, but I think what he was saying was that, like, he was like, are things going to change when I get older? I kind of want to go back to when that wasn't a problem, when things were simpler and stuff.
Well, I mean, it still fits with, like, Digimon Try is a reboot of Digimon Adventure while we are adults who wish that we could, in some ways, be rebooted. Because apparently being an adult sucks. Which Taichi explicitly says it, so, like, he's like, if we wait for someday, we'll become adults. And I'm like, and there's nothing worse than becoming an adult.
That was such a strange line. I remember that being really effective in the PV, and I was, like, excited for it. But like in this, it was just like, I thought there was another line missing, like, and why is being adults bad? Like I thought it was like, and we'll become adults and we'll forget everything. But it was just like, and we'll become adults. That's the worst, was the implication. I was like, what?
Nobody likes adults, especially other adults.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're talking about like the contrast between growing up and rebooting. I think that was spelled out mostly by contrasting what would happen from the reboot, that the Digimon would forget everything and that the kids wouldn't forget everything. It wasn't like Chain of Memories, or it wasn't like Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is hard memory mechanics where like if someone is occasionally when someone is removed from history or whatever, everyone just forgets that they existed. Like, and at some point Sora loses his memories, which causes everyone to lose their memories of him, which is just bogus and BS. That's not like, this movie is just much more simple. It's just the Digimon will forget everything and the kids will remember everything, but they'll move on, and that by growing up, they will, like the sadness, they'll get over it. And I do think there's something similar to that like, that sadness will go away and be erased with time.
This honestly, other than the memory loss part, this sounds like the ending to Tamers.
I'm not feeling it. You're gonna have to elaborate.
Because they're gonna have to move on, the battle's over, the Digimon leave.
Isn't that the end of any season?
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, whenever they're split up and...
Most seasons, but really Tamers.
Sure, but you're saying the moving on thing is inherent in them splitting up, and that the sadness they'll eventually get over and stuff. But I think what this movie does that's different from that is that it's framed like there's the two sides. There's what's going to happen to the Digimon, what's going to happen to the humans, and that like even though they're very different, that like they're in some ways similar. They, like it's kind of like it's super sad and everything, but both sides are going to be fine. The Digimon, once they reboot, they're okay. Like, well, I guess not so much because we see that not everything is rebooted and there's still danger and whatever. But even when they're just setting up what they think is going to happen, it's like both sides are going to be okay. But whatever climax of them, the end of the last episode is that that being okay is not enough.
The reboot did nothing in the end, other than make the Digimon lose their memories.
It was the worst case scenario. It did everything that they didn't want and nothing they did want, which I assume was part of Maki's plan.
Shocker.
That is pretty frustrating. I hope there's a good reason given for that, because if it's just like, I assume there's going to be, but if there isn't, that's going to be really frustrating.
But yeah, that's what I'm really mad about. Like, they play it up, and in the end, it only affects the kids.
Yeah, it only does the bad thing.
That's all it did, and it felt really forced.
Yeah, I agree. If there's no good reason for that, it will be very forced.
I feel like in any situation in which one side loses their memory completely, regardless of whether it worked out that they'll be fine, and the other side retains all their immediate memories, like, it's always going to feel like it only affected the kids at that point. No.
Yeah, but they specifically say that it's supposed to fix everything, and the only thing it does in the end is make the Digimon lose their memories.
Okay, but that's because they're evil. Like, they're blatantly evil.
Wait, Ashley, no, I don't... Yeah, like, okay.
Maki!
Yes, so you're assuming... Yeah, so if the reboot was planned by Maki and it was... Yeah, that... Yeah.
Like, you are mad that they are being facetious, and I'm like, the facetiousness is the point.
Right. So, Andrew, I think you're assuming that, like, the reboot was set out as described and for some reason malfunctioned in the worst possible way. And what Ashley's saying is it was set up to be the worst possible way. They fell into their trap of...
But what causes the reboot exactly?
So the only person who ever describes the reboot is Maki, who describes it as being homeostasis plan. But we see like Maki, like in the very beginning of the movie, has a file on her computer that says reboot. And I think she says it's the will of homeostasis and stuff, but like all indications being that it's like part of... And if the reboot wasn't organized by Maki's agency or whatever, what do? They haven't done anything aside from possibly this reboot. That's why I think it's them. And
they've known the whole time that Meicoomon is infected, possibly have known that forever. Just like...
And also, if you think of the reboot as being Maki's plan, it makes so much sense. It's like, it completely cripples the power of the Digidestined. They no longer have things they can fight with. It basically, I mean, I guess we still don't really know what's going on with Alphamon versus Jessmon fight. Like, that, there's still a lot of unknown things in the equation, but it does seem like it did everything. Like, things are just as bad as they were, and only worse. And it really seems like an effective trap.
Okay, if it is Maki's plan, then it still makes me mad, but it's not as mad if it was the digital world itself in homeostasis.
I mean, it is still up to, like, other movies will determine whether that is correct or not, but I think that the setup has been that Maki has ulterior motives that do not align with what the Digidestined want.
Asher, do you have any thoughts on rebooting?
Not really. I'm of the opinion that it probably won't last that long. And my main thought is that it's setting up the next phase of adulthood for the kids, like the next phase of growing up as being parents to the little Digimon. Because there was a lot of that going around in this particular arc.
Yes, there was. I think at some point I don't remember what episode we mentioned it in, but I read someone speculating that like about the upcoming movies dealing with memories and stuff, and I was like, oh god, I don't want to think about it too much because that's like such a good idea, and I really am going to be disappointed if they don't do it. So I'm glad they did it, and I mean, Ashley, you called it as early on in the first episode when they kept showing the lingering shots of the glared out picture frame from the picture that's at the end, the camera shot at the end of the first season, and that continues to be completely obscured through glare in this movie. So I'm glad they're I think the dealing with memory loss as the danger, I think, is generally really effective because, especially for a not reboot, this show is not a reboot, but a sequel like this, where like our memory of the original season is what ties us so strongly to the series. So I think having the thing that's at stake be memory is really powerful. Also, that like I didn't notice this until rewatch, but when Patamon is first talking to Takaru and they're talking about how they know Patamon's infected, Patamon's like don't worry, defeat me if I start to go infected. Like it's all okay because I have my memory of being with you. I don't care if I'm destroyed because I have my memory. And then it's just like, nope, you're not going to get destroyed, but you're going to lose your memory. And like, oh no, that's terrible. Yeah.
Well, I mean, trying to decide if I'll be sad if the rebooting doesn't last or if I think that's good. I feel like it achieved a lot of like semi-exploring in this movie because I was really, I don't think it went full into some of these ideas that I had about it, but just like Tentomon saying at some point, knowing nothing is just a chance to learn new things, right? Is like, there is a challenge in adulthood, at least with the people that I run with, where it is in some cases harder to like unlearn things that you've learned and internalized than it is to learn new things. So like that's why you always like long for a chance to reboot, right? Is like, they also say at some point that the digital world is just one of many possible worlds that exists side by side along of ours. And it's like, we all feel that we have like infinite possibilities within us, but if you keep diverging down one path, you can never go back to another path. So like, you do want to reboot in some way.
I think more to that, like, there's even more than that. Like, everyone has nostalgia, even if you don't regret that many things. I think nostalgia is at the core of things. And also, like, we briefly mentioned this in a recent episode, I feel like that, like, there's a dangerous side to nostalgia, too. That, like, that is at the core of some presidential campaigns right now. That, like, things were better off back in the old days. So, like, let's reset to that and forget all of the massive racism and sexism and everything that happened back then because, like, the good old days and, like...
Yeah, everything was so good back in the good old days.
Yeah, everything was so good before we progressed so much as a society. And so, like... Yeah, and I wonder, like, especially if we have a speculation that the reboot is not a good thing, or that it was designed with this nefarious purpose, I think it's a really interesting thing to explore, that, like, this idea that, I feel like in media it's usually always presented that, like, going back to the past is a good thing, but to have this be, like, a corrupted reboot is cool to explore. Because when it comes out, we might have, as a country, been corruptedly reboot to Donald Trump.
Well, I think it's also... But I mean, I think at the heart of nostalgia, like, the dark side of nostalgia is always that it's sort of, like... a corruption of your past, because I think, I mean, when I looked this up, it wasn't exactly what I remembered it to be, ironically, but like, you know, Toni Morrison in Beloved explores like re-memory, which is supposed to be like a memory that is traumatic, that you suppress, that like comes back suddenly and takes over. But I thought I also heard that there was like exploration of just like re-remembering things, and you know, each time you re-remember a thing, you might like distort a little part of it.
Yeah, because you're recreating it.
Yeah, so like each time you recreate it, it like gets further and further away from the actual thing.
Since you're recreating it, you're recreating something from something that doesn't exist, technically. So every time you remember it, you lose a part of it because you're rebuilding it from scratch.
Which is why I think nostalgia is always very powerful, because I feel like we have a tendency to recreate it in the best possible light. So we're like, oh my
Right.
God, that was so amazing. When at the time you're like I have so many nostalgic memories of college when at that, like memories of things that I really nostalgic and really fond of at the time I was like really sad or whatever. And it's kind of like our superpower as a species that we can get over sad events and traumatic events.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also just like, I mean, we don't think about it this way because we recreate memories in the best possible light. But it's like, if you took an original photograph and then you just like kept photocopying it, like eventually it would just be so bad quality that like
oh no. So I was actually thinking about this because like that idea reminds me a lot of what's the experimental music thing
yeah.
by Alvin Lucier.
Oh, I forget. Yeah.
It's called I'm Sitting in a Room, and basically he recorded himself. This is a professor at my college, is why I know about it. But he,
I mean, that's a more fitting metaphor, actually.
But yeah, so he recorded himself saying, I think it was just talking, like for I don't know how long, and then took that recording and then played it back and recorded it and did it over and over until it was just like harmonic resonance. It was just like a tone.
Yeah, until it's just like a beautiful sounding, like weird noises.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I heard about that.
But that's what nostalgia does, right? It turns it into like sort of beautiful, but like kind of now it's just nonsense. Like,
yeah. But what it actually reminded me more of was this recent phenomenon on social media of like having images be things that spark things. So it's like, you know, like it'll be an image. It's like, describe what you think of me in one anime character or something like that. I can't think of a specific one right now. Do you know what I'm talking about? The things that get passed around?
I think
A meme?
Well, no, not just the meme.
no, I've seen the one that's like
Tag yourself.
myself in 3 characters or something.
Right, but yeah, I think that's one's definitely doing it. I mean memes that are like prompts for questions. And sometimes it's like that thing, that's like a thing you do yourself. You put the image that says tag myself in 3 pictures or whatever, and then you also put 3 pictures. There are also ones that are like a question that you post and then other people reply to, but the question is in an image, so you can easily share the image. But what's happening with that is that like people share the image on social media, people then download that image and then share it again, and then like the social media engines just recompress it every time. So like you can see like the lifetime of it, they just get more and more compressed and more ugly.
Is that what's happening?
I didn't realize that was a thing that happens on.
I definitely seen more recent ones where it's like the images is really low quality, and I mean I haven't like found the original image to see if that's exactly what happened, but I speculate that's what's happening. Yeah, which I mean doesn't back up this point because it just looks ugly. Whereas the experimental music thing, it did get prettier and stuff. So
yeah. I don't know. The only other thing that I thought was interesting with the reboot/infection was just like Takaru in particular has a very ugly memory. Takaru and Meiko, I guess, have very ugly memories of like their Digimon attacking them and stuff like that. And now their Digimon don't even remember the good memories, which I'd compared to the Hunger Games. But like in general, no, but like in the Hunger Games, it's something that like actually quite bothers me about like how that relationship ends up, because it's like there is like physical violence that happens to these people that they're like, oh, but it was like you were infected or like whatever, like it wasn't you.
Actually, can you explain for people who haven't read, like I feel like it's really hard to follow people who don't know what...
Well, I mean, it's a big spoiler, but sure. Like in the Hunger Games, it's like PETA almost strangles Katniss. He does strangle her, but like almost to death, kind of. And then in the end, they end up as a couple together because they had all these other moments. But he can't, most of his memories of Katniss have been corrupted.
Yeah, so he is infected. He's infected with these memories that are causing him to attack her. So he wasn't doing it of his own free will. And then because he's had so many of these memories, implanted him and stuff, he doesn't know what is real. Or he doesn't remember attacking her, and he also doesn't remember other things.
No, he remembers attacking her. He just doesn't remember the actual good things. Like he doesn't
He doesn't remember what's real or what's not real.
Sure, but only specific to Katniss. And it's still confusing because it's like they could only manipulate the things that they had on videotape. So there are some memories that he retains from them, like as younger children, that then also create confusion because he's like, wait, but these are positive. Like he had positive associations with them. So like TK gets bitten by Patamon and then is like, oh yeah, but like it wasn't really you. Like you're infected. But like that stuff is so traumatic. Like I don't know. It's disturbing.
Yeah, I don't know if like that moment was that traumatic to Takaru, because like he was able to bear with it the entire time, and like was able, even if he was attacked, he was able to just be like, I'm just gonna hug you, and like when TK has that, when it's all shown from TK's point of view, Takara's point of view, when he's looking at Patamon. So I actually thought it was a nightmare. I thought it was him flashing back to like what he thought would happen. And then when he actually, like, when Patamon actually bit him, I was like, wait, I guess this is real now. So, like, I don't know. I guess I just point that out to say, like, I feel like the stuff that happened before, like him losing Patamon and everything, what he would imagine would happen. Oh, I don't know. I guess I could actually very much see in the future movies him flashing back to being bitten by Patamon and being like, I was really traumatic. So never mind. I revoke my point.
Yeah, I do feel like that scene was confusing because I feel like it was shown that Takaru was kind of bleeding a decent amount and Joe, like, didn't notice, and it was kind of weird. It was weird.
Okay, so now we only had limited time to record with Asher because he's busy with life. Is that a good way of describing it?
Busy with having 4 jobs and being a full-time graduate student.
Anyway, yes, so Ash is going to cut out now, and yeah.
Bye! Never stop digivolving!
Never shop.
I heard shop.
Never shop digivolving?
That's what we heard.
Huh. I could see it.
Have you been rebooted to think that you're in a world where never shop digivolving is a thing now?
Goodbye.
Do we have unanswered questions? I only had 2 written down.
I mean, I still think unanswered questions are kind of silly.
Everything is pretty much one.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, I guess so. And one of my questions was 0 to kids, which is just obvious. Like, yes, we don't know what's going on with that still.
But at least we have a vague answer of why no one noticed.
Not really.
It's basically implied that the government has something to do with covering it up.
But, like, I was confused about why when Maki brings Ken's D3 and whatever...
No one mentions it as being Ken's.
Yeah, nobody questions, like, why do you have Ken's D3?
Yeah, like, that's a... And also, like, even if they explain why, like, the public doesn't care about their disappearance or why their parents aren't, causing uproar about it, they don't explain why the kids don't care. Like, and there were a couple lines in this movie of Takaru being like, I think Takaru says to Kari something like, I haven't gotten a response from any of them. And that's just like, okay, I guess that's a brief allusion to the other 02 kids. And they acknowledge they're not responding. And they call out the scream from the first movie where Maki doesn't know where they are. But there's still such little reason given for why the kids don't care more about the fact they can't be reached. And I don't know.
Because they're going to live on a farm.
I mean, it obviously depends how things are eventually revealed, but at this point, it just seems like the more it's put off, the more I'm like, is there really going to be a good explanation for this? Or is it really just going to be, yes, they were, they're incapacitated in the digital world or whatever, and the kids just didn't, like, it could just be that the kids don't reach out to them because they assume they're not involved. Like, they get Digimon, they just assume, like, okay, we got our Digimon back, but they haven't, so let's not, like, rub it in their faces by asking them where their Digimon is, where their Digimon are. They could just assume, okay, well, it's our task this time, and it's not them, and that's why they haven't desperately tried to reach out to them. But, like, I'm so afraid that's what it's going to be. And it runs counter to so much of the rest of the themes and narrative of the movie, which are just like, oh yes, it's our friendship that matters. And like Tentomon refusing to go into the backup cube because he's like, I don't want to abandon my friends. And that's what all of these adventure kids have been doing with the 02 kids. And with them so tightly integrating Mako into the group and just forgetting about these other kids that were, okay, I can understand the 6 core, not 02 kids, not being too friendly with them, but like Hikari and Taku just like not caring that they've been MRA, not caring that they haven't been responding. It's still waiting with bated breath for a reasonable explanation, but getting more and more anxious that there isn't going to be one.
I just hope they're not affected by the reboot.
But if they're in the digital world when it happens, like, I guess we'll see what those mechanics are. Like, maybe they will be.
I mean, they're dead.
Yes, they've been murdered.
They're on the farm.
See, like, I've also been thinking about, like, the structure of... Because at one point I was excited for the idea that, like, maybe what they would do is the first 3 movies just market the adventure kids, and then for the last 3 be like, it's all of them now. And that would allow them to, like, capitalize on both series. But I am more thinking that, like, especially since we've seen the reveal of the poster for the 4th movie, and does not involve the 02 kids at all. Which I guess I don't think we should like have kitty gloves on for that. Like I think people who in the previous episodes we've tried to not spoil the poster because it's kind of a spoiler for the next movie, but I think most people who are listening to this have already seen the poster and they're not considering it really a spoiler. So we can just say that it's Sora, Taichi, and Yamato, and Biomon's Megaform, and Mugenjamon / Machine Jamon.
I feel like I haven't been able to make out half of what.
Yeah, so we don't have like a high quality version yet. We just have the low quality taken from a cell phone while watching the movie in theaters version. And so it's really hard to see all the characters. Like I think Sora, no, I think they're all hard to make out except for the Digimon.
I mean, I can tell Sora. Are there other humans?
Yes, they're Taichi and Yamato.
War Greymon it? Wait, War Greymon's also in it, right?
No.
Oh.
No. I mean,
that's Yamato?
I could have sworn I heard someone say that War Greymon's in the picture, but I couldn't see him.
I'll find a picture for the show notes that links to it, but I saw something on Twitter that was, I think with the well posted, that was like, they like drew out a circle around the 3 kids.
I'm still searching for the 3rd one.
Just like they're searching for the 02 kids, they're not really.
I see Yamato.
I really can't tell what's going on in this picture.
Maybe by the time this episode comes out, we'll have a high quality version. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't seem like they're really good. Like, it's not going to be like, and the second half focuses on all of them. So I think, maybe what they're going to do is like have them come back in the last episode, in the last movie, just to be like, and they're alive, cool. Maybe they help save the day or something, but that's it.
I mean, part of the reboot is to
get rid of them.
Kick out 02.
Yeah.
Who knows?
My other answer question was like, what does Maki's organization actually do? And if our theories are right that it's the reboot, then yeah, that's an answer.
It's really suspicious organization.
I had a lot of thoughts about the way Mako's dad treats her and how it's sad seeing him distance himself from her when she needs comforting.
Well, he's a very professional working man.
Right. And so it's like, I can understand when I think about it that like what he probably thinks that what he's doing with his whatever shady research, is the best thing for her. And that if he, shows comfort and spends time with her instead, then he's, not doing everything he can to solve the problem. I can reason that out as being maybe what he's thinking. It's not all laid out, but I can connect dots and like even best case scenario, I think that he's trying to help her. But if we also think that his organization is responsible for the reboot, that I don't know what light that actually shines on it. Because like that's an even more, well, I don't know. If they're behind it, they were behind it in such a way that it avoided rebooting Mekumon actually. So I was thinking that that's like a really manipulative thing to do to your daughter to make their best friend not remember them anymore. But I guess they actually avoided that. So because it seems that Mekumon is not rebooted.
Do we know definitively that they didn't reboot Mekumon?
I mean, Mekumon existed in Mekumon form at the end, unlike the other Digimon, which are in their baby 2 or in training form, whatever. Mm-hmm. So, and I thought the implication was that Mekumon was still red-eyed, but I think I found it hard to tell if that was actually like, is this Mekumon's natural state or is Mekumon still infected?
Don't know.
Anyway, unanswered questions exist because we haven't finished the series, so I can't really complain about them until we know if they're unanswered by the entire series, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to read 3 reviews that people sent to us on social media, their reaction to the movie in 3 words. So Chris McFeely said, better than determination.
Barachina0 said, F this ish, but in more explicit terms.
Wait, we can say shit, can't we?
I don't know.
So we have to interpret it, because a lot of people use expletives that we try not to use for keeping the podcast clean rated on iTunes. So we are replacing the F-bomb with F and the S-bomb? I don't know if people say that, with ish instead of the S word.
At First Agent ARP, or AR Pulver, everyone is broken.
Mr. Park Bomb said, here we go.
Cypher said, F my feels. I get all the curse word ones.
Someone named Shawnee Mac 22 or Sean Mercer says, Daigo is Hisoka.
Did you say Shawnee Mac 22 because the world's been rebooted and everything's slightly different?
Did I really say 22?
I think so.
I don't know.
Empire Will said, best, still plot holes.
Kaiju115 Am I supposed to be able to...
I guess you can't read the kanji. Oh, I guess we probably can. Can you guess what the katakana? Do you remember enough katakana?
Is it kaiju?
No, it's not kaiju.
Go...
Gojira, Godzilla. So kaiju 115 or Gojira 115.
Oh, the feels! Apparently 31 exclamation points.
Someone else that I may know called Lonely Distance or Joe said picked up threads.
Korito Prime said feels too strong.
Homoneurotic said, holy crap, best.
Sidewalk's Edge or Poe drinks your water. I'm dying, Squirtle.
I'm really confused by that one. I don't know what that one's about.
It's a meme.
Oh, really?
The I'm dying part, at least.
Growthy406 said, uh-oh, new rules. Also don't know what rules those are.
Trevor Whatever / Blizzard Wizard said, what the F? Seriously, I got all the next minute ones.
No, that's okay. Andrew gets one now.
I got one.
Oh, yeah.
So these are now from Tumblr.
Okay, so Roman Politane on Tumblr said, what the F?
And this one was with periods between the words, which makes it different from the other ones. Jurist Mechanarchy said, heart is broken.
I don't have a Tumblr with a dash between tum and blur. Said, I'm effing sobbing.
Allison Manic said, so many feels.
Gigabyte Gangster said, F you, Himikawa.
Oh, man. X-Ace Jitix. I'm not crying.
And now Facebook.
Richard Meschel said, oh my feels.
Acadia Stevens said, pulls at heartstrings.
David Caudill said, I can't even / oh, the feels / the 02 Digimon.
So some final ones. Tokujo said, crying again. Datyoni said, 5 more months. Aviv Biri said, Maki's evil smile. Avoka Tamer said, friendship feels, and here's the last word, freaking Himikawa was smiling, stop it. All one word. And Garudamon, or Nagatha Christie, said, protect Sora 2017. And Stevie Patamon / Stevie Patmore said, too much feels.
Never too much feels.
I think the running theme is that people felt things in this movie, apparently.
Oh, was it the Patamon thing?
I guess we didn't actually touch on that too much in our discussions. We didn't really talk about emotions. I didn't cry. Did anyone else cry?
I teared up.
I guess when I watched the first time, I watched the first 2 while running the gym, and the last 3 while at my desk at work. So it's like, wasn't really a setting where I was going to cry. Andrew, did you cry at all?
No.
Podigious, full of cold hearts.
Yeah.
No, I was mad.
I cried in the opening of the first movie when the 02 kids got beaten down. No.
Really?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
Am I the only one who cared?
That's definitely not true. See, even though I didn't cry, I really appreciate the craft of the emotion, of the emotion evoked. I could appreciate, this is very emotional right now. This is well done. This will make people cry, even though it didn't make me cry.
It explored a topic that has interested me since forever, which is just, what if the people that you love lose memories of you, and not just when they're old and have Alzheimer's, but in general. That always makes me semi-upset.
Yeah, and I also I think it's such a fitting thing to explore with a property that is all about the past and nostalgia and everything. Okay, let's do quick speculation. Looking forward, I want to say that weird disco ball thing that gave the ominous message. I assume that's whatever evil force is behind the corruption and stuff. But it also said, Digimon shall be released again. And that...
It's Venom Myonismon.
Okay, I wasn't thinking about that. What I was thinking that was... So what we saw, I think it was in 02 at some point, they talked about Genai, whatever, talking about how what he'd been doing between Adventure and 02 was keeping information about Digimon secret. And then the obvious question I had when we finished 02, and I was like, what's going to happen in Try? Was that there's some point between that, Genai doing that, and the epilogue where Digimon are open and everyone knows about them. And that seems like a similar end goal to this. Digimon shall be released again. So I'm thinking whatever's behind this corruption and stuff is trying to make Digimon release everywhere and public and everything's open about them and everything. And that'll be the end goal. That'll be the end game of the series, is that they, once after 2 movies, we find out what's the what's actually going on between Maki and potentially Dark Jedi and stuff. And we find out that, they're actually working to make Digimon open to everyone. And then everyone kind of gets on the same page. Like, oh yeah, we actually want that too. Let's do that. And now Digimon are everywhere. And now everyone has Digimon. That's my thinking. Agree, disagree?
Okay.
It's possible, but the Digimon being released again, what if that refers to old enemies?
I mean, so the poster...
Which would explain Mugendramon.
Yeah, the poster with Mugendramon definitely sounds like it, which is also possible from just a reboot, things being reset. Let's talk about Dark Jedi, because that's a big thing. Also, people were saying Dark Jedi, I guess based on the wardrobe and the fact that Ken was being kind of evil. My actual first impression was not that Ken was being dark, was that, like, I always thought after the second movie that, when I assumed that Ken was a projection from Hackmon, and that Hackmon was doing that in order that Ken and Imperial Digimon were projections from Hackmon in order to get the Digimon to fight and unlock their ultimate evolutions. And because it seemed like from Ken stealing Mekumon, nothing bad happened except the kids getting stronger. Although then Mekumon did then kill Leomon, but whatever. But I assumed it was just, like a friendly force trying to make them stronger. So when it was revealed to be Genai, I was like, okay, it's still a friendly force trying to make them stronger. And the dark wardrobe is just a red herring. But a lot of people think that it's like a clear sign that they're evil. Thoughts?
Who knows?
I don't know.
I mean, so a lot of people, who was it on? Someone on Twitter explicitly linked this to us. We should credit them. I think it was Homoneurotic, I think. But a lot of people are wondering if this is would be awesome if it were a tie into the scene in Adventure where we see a flashback of Genai being attacked by Piedmon, and Piedmon inserts a little dark marble thing into his back. Yeah. And that, I don't know, that would be, we also, in 02, Genai splits up into lots of different agents. This could be one of them that's rogue. Maybe one of them that's rogue because of the dark marble from Piedmon. That would be cool. At this point, I'm not there's definitely a clear... I think there are so many different routes they could go with Genai, and I don't really know if any of them is that's definitely going to happen, but they all seem interesting. And if they tie back to that dark marble thing and explain that 17 years later, that would be so cool. I don't want to think of that too much because I don't want to assume that if they don't do it, I don't want to get in the point where if they don't do it, I'm mad. I want to be surprised about when they do it, if they do it. I said when, so I guess I'm already... Anyway, any predictions or hopes? I guess I'm actually concerned seeing the poster and knowing that it's going to be Hoomon, or however you pronounce that, Biomon's mega form. Oh, Phoenix. I guess, yeah, I forgot it has two different... Anyway, we'll see how that's translated.
Depending on what you want to go with.
But I think it's more standardly Hoomon. Also, Ho is a Pokemon. Anyway.
Yes.
Because, I don't see how that could possibly happen with the reboot, with them going from In Training, Flash Baby 2, whatever, to Ultimate Slash Mega in one movie. I assume that means there has to be something undone about the reboot, which concerns me, because then would it remove all of the dramatic tension that was built up in this movie? I don't know. I'm kind of worried about that. I'm excited for Taichi, Yamato, and Sora being on the cover. Maybe they'll finally resolve that love triangle somewhat.
They will all combine together and be like, polyamory is cool.
Or the title refers to one of them dying.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. The title, Loss.
That doesn't explicitly refer to one of them dying.
You see, I don't know what can happen that is lossy without, we know if the epilogue, unless they contradict the epilogue and, throw the epilogue out. Oh, sorry, I clicked a thing. Unless they throw out the epilogue, I don't know what can happen that is lossy. Maybe Mekumon, maybe Mako. I don't know.
Well, at this point, I think it's just the loss of, memories.
But they've already lost them.
Yeah, it's expanding on that.
Well, I guess it could be them dealing with the loss that already happened.
Yes.
Huh. That'd be a guess so.
You can find the full show notes of this episode by going to Podigious.com/T3.0. You can leave us feedback in the comments section on the site, or you can just let us know your thoughts on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, email, Reddit, With the Will, SoundCloud, YouTube, Skywriting, Foreboding Prophecies, Color-Coded Smoke Signals, or just think it hard enough. And if you're listening to this before
Monday, October 17th
at 11:59 p.m. EST, here's the secret code word for the try giveaway: Donut Smile. Just send an email to podigious@gmail.com mentioning Donut Smile for your extra entry into the giveaway.
Podigious is made possible with the support from our awesome Patreon, Amanda Angelbomon, David Grauman, Diab Jomon,
Joe Keto, Justin Blaine Davis, Kai Lunamon, Kaiserwashi, Michael Penny, Breakfast with Digimon, which is a Digimon podcast that you can find on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/breakfastwithdigimon, and Sam Kuwagamon, who hosts the Moncast, which compares Pokemon and Digimon, and you can also find it on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/the-moncast.
If you want to support the show on Patreon, you can get some cool rewards, like access to our private Slack chat group for $1 a month, monthly stickers for $5 a month, and early episodes for $10 a month.
You can find Podigious on Twitter, Tumblr, or Facebook to keep up with the Digimons and get funny images and GIFs related to the show. If you don't like how I pronounce GIF, shrug, then become a Patramon so you can vote on how we have to pronounce it. You can find me on Twitter at AshMcD00, where I'm going on epic bleach rants right now. Jeffrey, where can they find you?
I am also on Twitter, Definitely Jeff. Our new Takeru and Koshiro Try Chapter 3 artwork is by the awesome RW09. You should definitely check out our DeviantArt page to see lots of other really awesome Digimon pieces. We'll also have links in our show notes to our personal site, Pixiv, Tumblr, and Twitter.
Share the podcast with your friends who love you even when you're infected and keep hugging you after you bite their arm. And don't share the podcast with your friends who disguise themselves as a different friend and then reboot all your remaining friends.
Join us next week as we finally get to the first Tamers movie, and stay tuned for another bonus Try episode talking about Confession with some special guests. Bye! And remember, never stop Digimon.
Koshiro tries to back up everyone's data before Romeo and Juliet reboot the Windows 90. Okay.
Did you write this sentence?
Oh, you wrote this.
No, I did. I'm just
I feel like Romeo and Juliet's hard to say.
I think I'm mostly just like stuttering because my little sleep and coffee and okay.
Are you Koshiro?
Basically, I was Koshiro. I got
Are you ignorant?
Move on to reboot.
Yes.
I suppose so.
Wait, Ashley, what do you want for dinner? I can order it while you're talking.
I don't know. What are my options?
Curry?
Okay.
Okay, go.
So,
Sorry,
you
Ashley,
come in?
I'm rebooting your topic.
Okay. Reboot your childhood.
Reboot your
Did
face.
Reboot, exactly. Did Reboot come in up in the last movie? I don't remember. Whatever.
No.
I have so many feelings about this topic.
Okay.
I don't even know where to start.
Reboot sucks.
No, that's not my conclusion.
I assume Andrew was talking about the show.
No, I don't remember the show at all.
I have no idea what this show is, and I'm pretty sure Andrew's feelings are just that he does not like that they get rebooted.
Okay. Start the conversation in a way that we can actually cut into. Introduce the idea of reboot.
I don't know. Why do I have to introduce it?
Because I need to cut the episode together, Ashley.
Yeah, you can do it. It's fine. Asher, you just describe Reboot.
What, the actual show?
Oh my God. Okay, now let's talk about Reboot, the concept which arguably this movie is centered around.
Whether that is correct or not, but I think that the setup has been that Maki has ulterior motives that do not align with what the Digidestin want.
Whatever. Well, just watch Maki end up being a royal knight.
Yeah,
These guys.
she's gonna...
I
She's gonna be
mean,
Crusadermon.
I mean, I'm a little bit worried that she's Alphamon because, like...
But we saw Alphamon fight.
Did we see Maki watching Alphamon fight? See, I'm not sure about that.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure Alphamon is trying to prevent everything.
But what side do you think that Hackmon is on then?
Actually, no, it can't. Alphamon cannot be Maki because Maki was there when Alphamon's hand came out of nowhere and grabbed the Quagamon.
Yes.
Was she?
Wait.
She drove Mimi.
She drove Mimi and then disappeared.
No, she didn't.
She wasn't standing there throughout
She
the fight.
drives them back.
She drives them back,
Oh,
but
wait.
like...
No, actually, I got that wrong. Maki can't be Alphamon because she was driving Mimi at the time.
No.
When Alphamon attacked.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because Mimi doesn't arrive until after the attack's all over. So I buy that evidence. Okay.
Yeah.
I was worried. I'm not going to say what Digimon property it comes from, but there is a Digimon story where there is a female character who turns out to be Alphamon in a kind of similar role to Maki. So I'm like, I just don't want them to do the same
There's also another
thing.
character in that same story thing, where another character turned out to be another Royal Knight.
Next one is not Makuma. I did it again. Is Meiko's pajamas. They're pajamas.
They're pajamas.
Yeah, pajamas.
I do not understand the point of pajamas.
Wow.
Like the function.
They are clothes
Yes.
that you sleep in.
Yeah, why? Aren't they hot? Like,
Do you sleep naked? Is that what you're saying to us right now?
I don't want to talk about this.
no. That's not what I'm saying. The fabric is thick, right?
Not always.
There are not always.
Yeah,
There are
no.
different types of pajamas.
These look kind of thick, but also depends seasonally.
Like, I feel like I'm sweating looking at them. Because Florida.
Well, yeah, not everyone lives in Florida, especially people in Japan.
Yeah.
They probably don't live in Florida because they live in Japan. Next up this isn't really much of a thing. It's just Koshiro's shirt that he wears for a bunch of the movie.
Shockingly, Koshiro looks way more put together and handsome in this very
What?
simple thing that he went with than most of the crazy clothes he tries to wear.
We should also talk about his makeup in this when he like has the stuff under his eyes, from not sleeping at all, which is what I live with 24/7.
Called bags.
Yes, also makeup.
It's not makeup.
I wish I could get rid of it. I can't get rid of the bags under my eyes. I probably could get rid of it if I slept a reasonable amount of hours every night for a long period of time, but that's impossible.
Jeffrey, you have proven that is impossible for you, yes.
There are actually a bunch of fashion choices when they're after the Digimon have left and they're just like spending summer doing stuff in their montages. Sora, what is Sora wearing? She's wearing like a cowboy hat.
That is Sora, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Sora got weird here.
And her shirt is like a yellow shirt with like a smiley face with plus signs on it. And
Is that what it is?
I guess
The knee of her jeans ripped. I don't know.
I don't know if that's a
Whatever.
patch or if it's ripped. It's very strange. Sora, we question what you've done without
Hendayo!
Biyomon. You've just gone. I don't know. You've gone.
Off the deep end.
Actually, it looks like a heart.
Mimi, just like I didn't even recognize this as Mimi.
This is Mimi?
That was what?
Holy crap, I did not.
I mean, that is Mimi, right? Why would
What?
they show
Are
a
you
random girl at the
sure?
arcade?
I just thought it was a random girl at the arcade.
I mean, wait, do I have... Are there other pictures where it's, like, similar? I think it's Mimi. I think this is Mimi. Well, you can judge for yourself, it's Mimi.
Have no
How can it be Mimi?
What?
She has bangs.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. You don't just go from... You can't just make your hair have bangs like that. That's not a thing.
Does she not normally have bangs?
No.
No.
Oh.
I
guess
mean, not on her forehead.
Also, I guess this is, like, it's, like, pink. It's not the right hair color, right?
No, it is.
I mean, it's the right hair color.
Just the lighting.
Huh.
But now she looks like a character from another anime, except different hair color.
But
and
why
slightly
did they...
different Bangs.
So maybe that wasn't Sora either. Maybe this is just, like, a montage of characters that looked like them on purpose.
But it is them.
Because definitely,
don't-
it's not like...
What?
I mean, I guess you could think that maybe she grew them out, but in the later scenes, she doesn't have them again, so... The bangs, I mean. So...
That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I guess... But, like, this girl has, like, stars in her collar, which I assume was an American reference, because she went to America, because she's Mimi.
I don't know who this person is.
Well, and she's the most fashionable in the group.
And this does seem like it's this is a fashionable person thing. So, yeah, this might just not be Mimi. I don't...
But
strange.
it is Mimi.
I am not convinced that it is Mimi.
So, wait, so this Taichi shirt in the summer thing...
Is almost his old shirt.
Is it not?
Actually, it's two shirts.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. The sleeves look like it's just part of the same shirt, but it looks like his collar, you can see, like, it's shaped differently. The bottom shirt, the undershirt. So, yeah, I think it is two different shirts. I was like, how do you... Actually, how do you... I mean, he's obviously grown, so it can't be the same shirt.
I mean, there's no star on it. There's a star on his
Oh,
sleeve.
there's a star. Okay. It is very
Because
nostalgic.
Tai is the star.
See, I didn't really notice this when I watched the movie both times. I only noticed it when I went to take screenshots for the fashion report. But once I did that, once I noticed it for the fashion report, I was like, oh, so nostalgic.
Aww.
Is this even Takaro and Yamato? Like, I couldn't tell. This is a shot of two kids on
I
bikes.
think it's supposed to be.
And I think it's supposed to be the two
Which
of them.
one's
But
which?
yeah, I can't. Neither of them looks that much like them. But I mean, it would have to be
I
Yamato in
don't
the driver's
know.
seat, right? Like the driver's seat is the one in front.
Honestly, it looks like TK's the driver's seat.
Yeah, the one in back looks more like Yamato.
I don't know.
This
Also-
really confuses me.
Actually, no, it's definitely Yamato in the front because he's wearing Yamato's necklace.
Oh, good point.
But like that looks more like Yamato in the back. I don't think we've ever seen Takaro in that shirt. Maybe Yamato is driving his own clone. They picked up somewhere. Wait, we had to comment on the fashion of Yamato's blush. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 blush lines on the left.
Someone was paid to animate this.
5 blush lines on the left and 3 on the right. It's a pretty good score. Actually, no, I think there's just 3. I thought for a second there were 4.
It might be 4.
I think it's 3. This is very important.
It's really hard to tell.
I'm gonna weigh in and say it's 3.
I will start off by pointing out how there was no ominous monologue in the beginning of this movie.
Just like the preview.
There's ominous monologues in the middle of the movie.
There was nothing. Everything was digested. There was like a weird disco ball that said a thing, but that was like things that characters in the world were seeing. There was nothing like the 2 speeches we saw.
Well, what about what's it called? Homeostasis. As Kari.
That's what you're saying. Yeah, sure, but okay. I guess we get things that are like it in the course of the movie, but I think it's weird for them to change up the pattern here. I don't know. It also seems like it would have been a natural point to like have them in the first 3 and not the last 3, but it just be like 1, 2, not 3. I guess we'll see how it fits in the rest of once they all 6 are out. But I think it's weird to break pattern once they've established a pattern. This is I don't know how much this actually means anything, but so I noticed this when Sora was talking about Dark Evolution. I never knew the term for Dark Evolution before in Japanese, but it is Ankoku Shinka. I mean, Shinka is evolution, obviously, but Ankoku just means like An means dark and Koku means black.
Oh.
And so it just means Dark Evolution, right? But like what it reminded me of is that the word for encryption is Angoka. And so it's the same first kanji and last kanji with a different thing in the middle.
Like, you're talking about data encryption, right?
Yep. Which, like, I mean, literally the kanji for that word just mean, like, dark number change.
There's a kanji for encryption, though?
There are kanji for everything.
But isn't
not
rare for a new word to have a kanji, though?
It's not like one kanji. It's a word formed from other ones. And it's not, I don't think it's that rare there are definitely plenty of concepts that just come over as katakana. But anyway, all of this is to say that, like, Ankoku Shinka and Angoka, similar roots, and from what they described in this movie of the ternary number system. I guess I should rant about that now. That like the Koshiro's explanation. He's talking about how the like how things have been corrupted and how everything's in this new number scheme which you can't figure out, and how computers are normally in binary or things convertible to binary, but this is some weird thing we can't see or we can't understand. And while he's talking, so I don't actually know if he knows that it's ternary, because while he's talking how like he doesn't know what the base of the number is, which is 3. Obviously, we see that the data he's looking at is 0s, 1s, and 2s, which is 3 numbers is base 3. But I guess we're supposed to understand that he doesn't know that. It doesn't make any sense, because like data is stored in 0s and 1s. You would be able to tell if it was instead stored as 0s, 1s, and 2s.
You can find me on Twitter at AshMcD00, where I'm going on epic bleach rants right now. Jeffrey, where can they find you?
I am also on Twitter, Definitely Jeff.
We don't care about the Softman brothers.
Yes.
You can't find them.
You can't find them because we're recording this after they both left, and we're recording this outro the night before we released the episode. So we forgot about that.
It's a while after they left.
They left weeks ago.
Yeah.
I might include this in the outtake section, but yeah, I took several weeks to edit this episode, so we recorded it the day after Try came out, and then because of technical issues and workload and other personal things, it took me a while to get through editing it. So yeah, I feel like I need to include this disclaimer somewhere in the episode, which I totally forgot to until now, because I feel like there are some theories and stuff which we discuss as being new and novel to us, which like now we'd be like, no, of course everyone's mentioned this by now. And so just keep that perspective in mind through everything you've already listened to at this point, since this is going to be the end. But yeah, we recorded this right when Try came out.
We're not trying to be butt faces. This is basically what we're saying.
Yes. Join us next week as we finally get to the first Tamers movie after weeks of teasing it on social media and then weeks of not teasing it of Radio Silence.
Already after weeks of we had recorded it.
We recorded in 2013, actually.
Yeah, I mean...
We recorded before we started the podcast. Yeah. Join us next week as we finally get to the first Tamers movie, and stay tuned for another bonus Try episode talking about Confession with some special guests. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We need to say it together, though. Okay. Bye. And remember, never stop digivolving.
It's so creepy to say things at the same time in real life.
Digivolve your differences!